What separates leaders who wish for impact from leaders who deliver it? It's not luck. It's not charisma. It's a relentless system for setting bold aims, converting them into daily action, and tracking progress with ruthless honesty. In 2025, when speed and uncertainty are permanent fixtures, goal setting isn't a New Year ritual. It's the operating system of leadership. This guide will teach you the science, the strategy, and the practical rituals that let leaders not only set stunning goals but actually achieve them. Again and again. Ready to stop hoping and start hitting? Let's build that machine. Why leadership goals fail and how to fix the leak. Leaders set goals. Most fail to reach them. There are predictable reasons. Goals are vague, ownership is diffuse, progress is invisible, and learning loops are slow. The result? Energy bleeds out into busy work, teams lose alignment, and engagement slides. A pattern Gallup now flags across the globe, with engagement falling to 21% in 2024, and managers seeing the largest drops. That decline isn't abstract. It erodes momentum for any strategic goal. Fixing the failure gap starts with clarity and structure. Decades of research show that specific, challenging goals reliably improve performance compared with vague, do-your-best exhortations. This is not just motivational fluff. It's science. Meta-analyses of goal-setting research report medium to large effect sizes for specific, difficult goals on performance. In short, the more precise and audacious your target, with commitment, the better the performance. But research also warns, structure without culture is brittle. Simple tools like SMART can help with clarity, yet modern studies show SMART alone isn't a silver bullet, especially for creative or ambiguous work. You need context, feedback, and disciplined cadence to translate clarity into sustained progress. The modern architecture, objectives, key results, and stretch goals. If you want practical, repeatable success at scale, borrow what work systems are actually using. Objectives plus measurable key results plus stretch ambition. OKRs, objectives, and key results are now standard in many high-growth organizations because they combine clarity with aspiration and a regular cadence of review. Recent industry surveys show a majority of companies adopting OKRs to drive focus and execution, and many report measurable impact within months. OKRs aren't ideology. They're a framework to translate strategy into measurable weekly progress. A strong OKR is built like this. Objective, the destination. Bold, qualitative, human. Key results, the evidence. Numeric, time-bound, and verifiable. Owner and cadence, who leads. And when we check progress, weekly sprint reviews plus monthly reflections. Stretch targets matter. Research and practitioner evidence show that difficult goals, not impossible goals, produce the highest motivation and performance. They invite learning and creativity instead of complacency. The sweet spot is audacious but achievable with new learning. The neuroscience and psychology behind goal success. Why do specific, challenging goals work? 2 reasons. Attention funnels. Specific targets focus cognitive resources. The mind stops dithering and starts searching for levers that move the metric. Feedback loops change behavior. Rapid, frequent feedback lets brains update strategies quickly, rewarding progress with dopamine and demoting failing tactics. That's why your cadence matters. Quarterly vision setting is important, but weekly check-ins are where habits change. The brain learns from immediate, repeated feedback. Leaders who set monthly or weekly progress reviews turn slow aspiration into fast, corrective action. A leader's playbook, from ambition to daily work. Here's a practical system you can implement this quarter. A repeatable playbook to set, drive, and lock outcomes. Step 1. Define the 3 North Star priorities. Limit yourself. Choose no more than 3 organization-level priorities for the quarter. If you have 10, you have none. These are your true non-negotiables. Step 2. Translate into OKRs. For each priority, write 1 objective plus 3 key results. Make KRs quantitative when possible. Percent, ARR, NPS points, cycle time. If something can't be measured, design a proxy. Step 3. Align and cascade. Map team OKRs that ladder up to the org priority. Alignment is not copying, it's contribution. Each team KR should clearly roll up into an organizational KR. Step Step 4. Weekly stand-ups, monthly reviews, quarterly strategy. Weekly, short sprint reviews. What moved, what blocked, owner commitments. Monthly, deeper learning review, trends, experiments, resource reallocations. Quarterly, reset priorities and reallocate bets. Step 5. Experiments, not excuses. Insist every missed KR includes an experiment. What new tactic will we try? Test, measure, iterate. Leaders who treat misses as data multiply learning velocity. Practical tools and rituals that actually work. Use these ready-to-deploy tools in your leadership routine. Daily focus. Top 3. Every leader's day starts with 3 non-negotiable outcomes. This aligns micro decisions to macro goals. Weekly OKR walkthrough, 15 to 30 minutes. Leaders present progress, blockers, and next step experiments. Public ownership accelerates accountability. Decision logs. Write the top 3 assumptions behind each big bet. Revisit and test them fast. Learning ledger. Capture what we tried and what we learned after each sprint. This converts failure into institutional memory. Visible dashboards. Publish a single-line visual of each KR's status. Green, yellow, red, plus trend. Visibility kills distance. Operational truth. You can't manage what you don't measure, but measurement must be humane. Use a few high-quality metrics, not 1,000 vanity numbers that confuse the team. Common leadership traps and the fixes. Trap: too many goals. Fix: ruthlessly prune to the top 3. Trap: measurements without context. Fix: combine a metric with the hypothesis that connects it to impact. Trap: no ownership. Fix: assign single ownership for each KR. Racy clarity. Trap: no learning process. Fix: require a short learning memo for every missed KR. Share it broadly. Research shows many leaders set goals but lack follow-through. Only a minority design the cadence and feedback loops needed to ensure execution. Organizations that marry goal clarity with frequent feedback demonstrate far higher execution rates. Leadership language: how to talk about goals. Words shape behavior. Use this language to shift culture. When launching a goal, this is our bet. Here's why it matters, how we'll measure it, and who owns the outcome. When course correcting, our current approach didn't move the needle. Here's one experiment we'll run this week to learn faster. When celebrating progress, this metric improved because of X, Y, replicate, and scale. Language that normalizes experiments, ownership, and transparency converts goals into organizational habits. Quick evidence round. Why this works. Select citations. Specific, difficult goals improve performance with medium to large effect sizes. They outperform vague, do-your-best directives. OKR frameworks are increasingly adopted and show measurable impact on focus and execution within months for many teams. Employee engagement, a major predictor of goal follow-through, dropped globally to 21% in 2024, underscoring the need for leaders to build clarity and connection alongside goals. Your 30-day action plan. Start today. Pick your 3 priorities for the next quarter. Write 1 objective plus 3 KRs for each priority. Make them numeric where possible. Set your cadence. Weekly OKR walk, monthly review, quarterly reset. Run 1 experiment this week tied to a stalled KR. Document the hypothesis. Publish 1 dashboard line for the team. Visibility beats opaque ambition. Do these 5 moves, and you'll turn vague wishes into measurable momentum. Advanced execution. From goals on paper to impact in practice. You've set your North Star priorities, translated them into OKRs, and built weekly cadence. That's the foundation. Now comes the heavy lifting. Alignment at scale, motivational economics that sustain effort, and governance rituals that keep teams honest, adaptive, and relentlessly learning. This is where good plans become great outcomes. Alignment that actually works. The 4-level cascade. Organizational North Stars. 2 to 3 strategic priorities for the company, quarterly and annually. Functional OKRs. How each function contributes measurably to the North Stars. Team commitments. Tactical KR owners and experiments for the sprint cycle. Individual focus. Top 3 weekly outcomes tied to team KRs. Cultural signals, rituals that stick. Culture is the echo of repeated behavior. Cement the goals. Culture with rituals. Celebrate small wins publicly, especially experiments that taught powerful lessons. Reward learning, not just results. Spotlight teams that shared learnings. Quarterly learning showcases where teams demo experiments and outcomes. These rituals build a bias for experimentation, not perfection. When systems, incentives, cadence, and capability align, Goals stop being wishful thinking and become repeatable outcomes. Build the machine, sustain the rituals, and watch teams convert ambition into consistent, measurable impact. If you want to keep strengthening your leadership, subscribe here to Next Level Leadership.